Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another ads video, this time homebrews for the Atari 2600 and 7800. I purchased all of these games from Atari Age at one time or another. I have all of the cartridges in alphabetical order as well as the manuals. Now there are a number of cool things about Atari Age. For one thing, they publish a lot of homebrews. Secondly, they offer reproductions of games that were homebrews but originally offered in very limited quantities. I'm talking around 25 copies each. These were typically available only at a particular retro gaming convention. Convention is the word that slipped my brain. So they offer reproductions of those fully licensed, and that's really cool. But they also offer a number of brand new homebrews for all the Atari platforms, and occasionally you'll see something for the Amiga or the Commodore 64. But anyway, all of the Atari platforms, whether they're console, handheld, or computer, Atari's various computer systems. I've seen games come and go. They'll be available for a while and then they'll disappear. Some will return someday, others I have not seen returned, but also there's a unique phenomenon there, and I don't know how many times this has happened, and I don't remember the game that I'm thinking of, the title I mean. But I was going to speak of the forums at Atari Age. That can be quite informative, it can be quite hilarious, and it can be quite productive, because someone one year posted as a April Fool's gag a homebrew that had the most outrageous premise and the most outrageous goals, and people started to post, hey, they would like a copy of that game. Where can I get a copy of that game? When is Atari Age going to release a copy of this game? Then screenshots started to appear, and photos of mock cover and so forth, and that spurred more interest in people. I really want this game. When is Atari Age going to release this game? Can't remember if I mentioned this or not. It was a hoax. It was, I think I did mention it. When I was a dinosaur, I had a tiny brain, nothing but future fossil fuel. That's all I ever was. Anyway, it was all a hoax. However, there was a lot of demand for the game, and you know what? Somebody made the game, and Atari Age released it, which I think is really cool. Now, they also offer a number of possible enhancements to games. Some are optional, some require it. And of course, you have the option of NTSC or PAL on many games. The first game that I'm going to show you, Leah Quest, from both Evavision and Atari Age. Focus. Before I get to the enhancement for this particular game, here's the manual. Nice, colorful manual on heavy, glossy stock paper. And all their manuals come in a poly protective sleeve with a backing board. Anyway, The main character in this game, his name is Ricardo. Gee, really? From Evavision and Atari Age. Elite Quest program contents, copyright 2005, Evavision, manual and label, copyright 2005, Atari Age, printed in USA. Now, as I believe I mentioned, this game has an enhancement. The enhancement that Elite Quest offers is the Melody board. Oh, come on, camera. Now, I printed this off of Atari Age's website because I didn't want to get the information wrong. There's just too much information for me to remember. The Melody board is basically half of a Harmony board, which is a more advanced board. But anyway, advantages of the Melody board. Uses all new surface mount components. Before the Melody, most 2600 homebrew games used refurbished EPROMs, many of which are 25 plus years old. Also true. As these parts age, there's always the increased possibility of failure. According to the chip manufacturer, the flash memory on the Melody board has a guaranteed minimum lifetime of 20 years. We expect that the typical lifetime is many times longer. Melody boards can be reprogrammed without having to open the cartridge. Thus, you can recycle your Melody-based game and get a significant 50% credit towards a new game, or if an upgrade for the game becomes available, you can get the latest version by sending the cartridge to us and paying return shipping, and that's all you'll pay. The refurbished version of the game is free, since you bought the original. The Melody has onboard RAM and supports every known Atari 2600 bank switching method up to 32K in size. This includes SARA-based superchip games and all the unique bank switching schemes developed by third-party. As I believe I've mentioned numerous times, I'm dyslexic, so you have to bear with me. This includes SARA-based superchip games and all of, inserted of there, and all the unique bank switching schemes developed by third-party 2600 game developers. This gives homebrew authors more flexibility in developing new games down the road. The Melody has increased capability with a wide variety of 2600 compatible game systems in existence. It's not uncommon to run into systems that have problems playing a particular Atari 2600 homebrew game for one reason or another. This happens often with the 7800. The Melody board virtually eliminates this problem. We can ship Melody-based games more quickly than games built with traditional boards, since we do not need to program the parts and hand-soldered components to the circuit board. Atari Age is now offering the option of upgrading all Atari 2600 games we sell with the Melody circuit board. To make sure you get a Melody-based game, check that the Melody upgrade option is set to yes when you add a game to your shopping cart. And it says as shown below, but I didn't print that part. Okay. As it so happens, coincidentally, you get to hear me ramble again, because this next game, that falls alphabetically, as I mentioned, uses another type of enhancement that Atari Age games sometimes offer or require. This one offers an enhancement. The game is called A-Star. That offers an enhancement. Rather redundant. I could break out and sing When I Was a Dinosaur again, but I'm not going to torture you. Plus, I don't want to get sued for copyright infringement. Okay. A-Star. What does this game have as an enhancement? Well, this game is Atari Vox enhanced. A-Star has built-in support for Richard Hutchinson's Atari Vox. When you solve a level, A-Star will record this on the Atari Vox. The next time you fire up the game with an Atari Vox plugged in, A-Star will know which levels you've already completed. This way, you don't have to complete all the levels in one sitting. Now, one thing that printout on the Melody board didn't mention is that they can go above and beyond the stated, what was it, 32K? Yeah. If you really need it, they can modify the board to accept up to, I believe it's 4 megabytes of RAM. Imagine an Atari 2600 game with 4 megabytes of RAM memory. Not this game, but that is really an amazing thing. Kind of weird if you think about it. Okay, next up. These are all for the 2600 unless I specify 7800 or I forget that it's for the 7800, which has been known to happen, that sort of lapse in memory. Backfire. The manual for Backfire. By the way, there is a new homebrew for the 2600, I believe, that is currently being offered by Atari Age. It wasn't there just a few days ago, last time I went on Atari Age's site. So when I say new, I mean new. And although it's new, it is actually a enhanced or refurbished version of an earlier release of the game. Game being Kobayashi Maru, which something Star Trek fans are familiar with. But the name of the game they're offering now, name of the game, name of an ABBA song, it's called Kobayashi Maru Final. Okay, Atari Age, printed in USA. It gives all the credits for who programmed it and everything. Sometimes they hold contests for the label and box art. Label artwork provided by Earl Green. I don't know if he just provided one and no one else did offer one as an option, or if they held a contest. I don't recall. Backfire, copyright 2003 by Chad Lair. So, B-Ball. I don't know if you heard that, if my camera picked it up. This web camera has 2 built-in microphones for stereo. I don't know how it sounds on your system. On my system it sounds rather funky, but stereo. Manual. Okay, this is getting rather old, where I push in and it doesn't focus. But as I've mentioned before, I have tried disabling autofocus, and when I've done that, it looks worse. So this is copyright 2007 by Ivan Mikado, um, and published by Atari Age. Okay, this is a refurbished version of an earlier released homebrew for the 2600. This is Boeing 2600 2.0. That's where the melody board comes in handy. This doesn't have a melody sticker on it, but I have some melody games that don't have a melody sticker on them. Anyway, assuming I had a copy of the original Boeing 2600 and I wanted the upgraded version and didn't want to keep the original, I could ship it in if it was on a melody board, and all they'd have to do is just load it on there and ship it right back out again. Yes, this game is based on an Amiga demo, but this version 2.0 offers a lot of enhancements over the original version, and well, I was going to say I don't remember what they all are, but hey. New graphics and a larger ball, full 48 pixels wide and 90 pixels tall. Previous was 40 times 50. The world the ball bounces in now has gravity as opposed to the ball moving at a constant velocity and in a straight line. The spin of the ball switches when it bounces against a sidewall. Random changes of horizontal and spin speeds after bouncing off a side wall. Corrected the number of scan lines to 262. Audio pitch has been tweaked lower for the sidewall bounce to better match the original demo. And then it goes into game variations and so forth. Amiga Boeing Demo 2.0 programmed by David Galloway. Original Bong Demo Rob Cutler. Label design Dale Crum. Manual design Tony Morse. Cartridge produced by Atari Age. Manual label copyright 2005 Atari Age. Okay, I might be mistaken. No, I'm not. I'm gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, this is a really recent release. And as I see the copyright date of 2012 on it, I was correct about that. This is called, I hope I pronounced it correctly, Chitari, or Chittery, or whatever. I believe at one point this was being offered initially with a box. sheer number of homebrews for the Atari 2600, staggering. It is the largest homebrew community there is. That's the back. One of the neat things about Atari Age is that, well, with me anyway, so far, every game shipment has come with a Atari Age refrigerator magnet, and the game I just showed, for a limited time, is still coming, or it was being shipped with a custom to that game refrigerator magnet. I have others that I'm not going to show you because I would have to dig them out from wherever hidey hole I have them in. It just so happens I have two of this one. Collect them and trade with your friends. Okay, this game, Colony 7. Manual. It's always tricky trying to get a decent still frame for the thumbnail image for video. I found if you just hold something steady, they don't, well, frequently anyway, they don't capture that. But if there's movement, they do. It's more often than not. I don't know. I may not even know what I'm talking about. That's been my experience. I think that two-page layout is rather cool looking. Yes, a 55-year-old man who says, cool. Cool. I have to show that because there's no way I'm going to try and pronounce it. Because I'm sure I would butcher it. Unintentionally, of course. This is for the 7800. Crazy Bricks. Used to be, about 10, 11 years ago, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homebrews for the 2600, but none for the 7800. Now, there are a lot for the 7800. Crazy Bricks. Manual. Her manual. This is a rather basic manual, as those are the only two interior pages. But you do get the Brucey bonus, if you will, of pictures of some other Atari 7800 homebrews that Atari Age offers. Okay. This game they offer it in two different label variations. I have both of them, but I can only find one to do in time for this video. I didn't want you waiting a year and a half until I stumbled upon it. Meteor Shower. This is for the 7800. The other variation, which I don't like as much as this one, is red themed as opposed to blue themed. In fact, the manual that I found utilizes the red themed artwork. So you get a basic idea of what the other one looks like. Yes, I'm all about getting variations on things. There is a NES game that I have that was only released in Japan for the Famicom, and it was released far too late to be released in any other territory for the NES because it was way at the end of the NES's lifespan. So even though the game existed, it was never released outside of Japan. Well, the NES Dump, which is another great retro site, offers reproductions of Famicom games that have been translated into English, all the text and everything, and converted for NTSC or PAL, whatever you need. Of course, Japan uses NTSC, as does the US. So, anyway, I mentioned Adventure Island, which was a series for the NES. I have the 3 original games, but then there was an Adventure Island 4, but not released anywhere outside of Japan. I have that, and the NES Dump offers it with 3 label variations, and I have all 3. Okay, I'm not going to try and pronounce this. I will pronounce the name of the company that developed it, or published it, or whatever, originally. Rescue Soft. You can see why someone, especially someone who's dyslexic, would not try and pronounce the name of this game. Lease LK-002. Manual. The thickest manual that I have come across for a homebrew is currently being offered by RetroZone. Don't recall which game it was. I showed it in a recent video. But that game has a 36-page manual. You can get the game boxed complete, or you can get it with the cartridge only. I got the complete version, which, as I mentioned, comes with a 36-page manual. Which may even be the lengthiest manual for any Atari game. Atari 78. Atari 2600 is what I was going to say, but it probably applies to the 7800 too. I imagine it's pretty darn up there in page count wise as far as NES games as well, which is what that game was for. Okay, I'm babbling and not making a whole lot of sense. I'm not sounding very coherent right now, but hey, I had to do this video today because this is the last week of full attendance for my daughters at school. Starting next week, the eldest, who is in high school, I don't know what the point of it is, but they get out at 10:45 every day through the week. My youngest daughter was rather put out when she discovered that this did not apply to middle school, which is what she's in, what we used to refer to as junior high. But anyway, she's got to stay for the full day. But her sister will be coming home a lot earlier, and I don't want to be in the middle of recording a video when she comes home because I generally get off the computer so that she can use it at that point. Anyway, as I mentioned, I'm babbling and I'm not making a whole lot of sense. So until next time, stay awesome. Be quite hilarious, and it can be quite productive because someone one year posted as a April Fool's gag a homebrew that had the most outrageous premise and the most outrageous goals, and people started to post, hey, they would like a copy of that game. Where can I get a copy of that game? When is Atari Age going to release a copy of this game? Then screenshots started to appear and photos of mock cover and so forth, handheld or computer, Atari's various computer systems. I've seen games come and go. They'll be available for a while and then they'll disappear. Some will return someday, others I have not seen returned, but also there's a unique phenomenon there, and I don't know how many times this has happened, and I don't remember the game that I'm thinking of, the title, I mean. But I was going to speak of the forums at Atari Age. That can be quite informative. Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another ads video, this time homebrews for the Atari 2600 and 7800. I purchased all of these games from Atari Age at one time or another. I have all of the cartridges in alphabetical order as well as the manuals. Now there are a number of cool things about Atari Age. For one thing, they publish a lot of homebrews. Secondly, they offer reproductions of games that were homebrews but originally offered in very limited quantities. I'm talking around 20, and that spurred more interest in people. I really want this game. When is Atari Age going to release this game? Can't remember if I mentioned this or not. It was a hoax. It was, I think I did mention it. When I was a dinosaur, I had a tiny brain, nothing but future fossil fuel. That's all I ever was. Anyway, it was all a hoax. However, there was a lot of demand for the game, and you know what? Somebody made the game, and Atari Age released it. 5 copies each. These were typically available only at a particular retro gaming convention. Convention is the word that slipped my brain. So they offer reproductions of those fully licensed, and that's really cool. But they also offer a number of brand new homebrews for all the Atari platforms, and occasionally you'll see something for the Amiga or the Commodore 64. But anyway, all of the Atari platforms, whether they're console.